Welcome everyone. This is Dr. Tom DePaoli. This is an exciting presentation about my new edition of the popular book, Common Sense Purchasing, which is available on Amazon. Please subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Apollo Solutions, pay forward, hard knocks lessons learned in life, career, and business. That's our motto. Here's some more of my business books. They're all available on Amazon. All of them have been well reviewed. This is the copyright notice. The new edition is an upgraded edition of my classic purchasing book, Common Sense Purchasing, published in 2004. I've added a heck of a lot to it, articles, resources, and they're more organized in the chapters in the book. The rear of the book also has a convenient master reference list where you can see the articles and find them very quickly. I hope you enjoy the book. Terminology. Some people get hung up on the terms purchasing, procurement, supply chain. I use them interchangeably. I realize others have different meanings, but this is really describing the effort of buying goods, parts, and services for an organizations and controlling the dynamics and the flow of the supply chain. I urge your reader to not get hung up on wordsmithing. Many companies still don't get it about purchasing. Common sense isn't so common. Purchasing is all about the building of strong relationships and gaining the trust of suppliers, customers, and colleagues. Chapter 1 talks about how to build relationships, learn how to do it, how to emphasize strategy first, not technology, how to source with cross-functional teams, keep your eye on a strategy ball, how to do a 5-year strategic plan, and how to sell transformation and re-engineering to the rest of the organization. How do you build relationships? First thing is you got to build trust. This is most effective with suppliers. When they get to trust you, they will work with you. Supplier relationships are the most critical. If you get world-class suppliers, you're going to have a world-class company. Customers expect the best, so give it to them. Chapter 2 talks about change management. Some of the things you should do is head off the lawyers at the pass when they try to start to complicate it. Culture is critical. Make sure you understand different cultures. Introduce discipline buying. Deal with mega change in some of the stories that I say and show to you. Use the appreciative inquiry for change, a positive approach. Resistance to change is fierce, but you can overcome it. Establish a powerful communications plan. Get marketing folks to help you. Use various media. You cannot over-communicate. Introduce discipline in your buying. Transaction discipline is very critical. Routine purchases must be in lockstep and easy. Requisitioners must use preferred suppliers with no exceptions. Set up easy catalogs that are easy to search. Smashing the traditional purchasing culture. Traditional procurement dies hard. You got to keep fighting. Change as much as possible in the beginning. Use cross-functional teams. Make folks use the new nomenclature. Get everyone out of their comfort zone. Build new habits. Reject all non-value adding work. Get rid of it. Don't encourage it. Do not take on any additional non-value adding work. Nobody reads fluff documentation or reports anyway. Get quick wins. Build momentum and morale. Publicize them. Snowballing will occur. Celebrate and keep going. Organizational place for purchasing, procurement, or supply chain. Should have a vice president of the supply chain where the rest of the folks report to. Should be independent and not under any other department or organization. For many companies, it's 50% of the total cost of goods sold. Other areas such as accounting or finance just screw up the supply chain. They just don't understand it. Invite others in the supply chain sandbox to play. Eliminate firefighting. Don't reward good firefighters. What did they do to prevent the fire from happening in the first place? Smokey the Bear will convert. Prevention is much better than fighting the fire. Chapter 3, Supply Chain Training, Transformation Articles, and Insights. Dump transactions swiftly. It shows you how. Remember, bureaucracy dies hard. Destroy it. Don't let it come back. You can lead process improvement. Retraining must be done for the professionals. Avoid a supply chain apocalypse. Have a plan for black swans and when bad things happen. Retraining procurement professionals. Some just don't want to learn. Reassign them. Must believe in the new processes in their heart. Relationships and customers must rule. Have a lot of cross-functional teams. Explain total cost of ownership. Have classes on it. Chapter 4, Strategy and Tactics, Articles and Insights. Measuring effectiveness and metrics. Make sure you do that. Stop maverick buyers. Don't tolerate them. Use non-traditional metrics. Sell the importance of procurement in the supply chain. What place should they have in the organization? A very top-level important place. Make sure you understand the reengineering journey and the effort it takes. Pick the right metrics. Think about them. Cycle time reduction is critical. It will really help you. The one-touch theory of the part or the service is that don't have a lot of handoffs of what's supposed to happen. Have classes again on total cost of ownership. Corporate strategy must be incorporated in the purchasing strategy or supply chain strategy and vice versa. Suppliers drive innovations. Use them. Perfect no-hassle transactions are important. Track your progress. Make it visible. Show folks what you're doing and show them your metrics. Do it in a way they can understand. Be professional and be honest when you have failures. Keep the radar gun on suppliers. Chapter 5, Leaderships and Negotiations and Insights. Make sure you do your homework with suppliers. It's not glamorous, but you need to do it. Understand information-based negotiations. Understand how to use emotional intelligence in negotiations. Understand the leadership traits needed in supply chain professionals. It's about leverage and consistency. Information-based negotiation, it is appropriate for most strategic suppliers, and putting together alliance-type agreements for them is something you should do. It is a major effort that requires a lot of nurturing. Chapter 6, Cost Reductions, E-procurement, Employee Involvement. E-procurement, make sure you have a pre-flight checklist. The checklist and the work before e-procurement takes longer than the actual software implementation. Have a desktop guide to cost reduction. Reduce cycle time for very big gains. Make sure you understand if you should try e-procurement or not. Can you use broken windows management? I believe you can. Total cost of ownership, again, very difficult to understand for non-purchasing folks. Price is still king for many. Map out your supply chain costs. Research and show non-value stuff. Educate everyone on your concepts. Pick the right e-tools. Research all your alternatives and define integration points, especially with suppliers. Document business needs. Make sure you get your quotes out or requests for quotes. Minimum integration is critical at times. Chapter 7, Purchasing Credit Cards, Articles and Insights. Although this is a concept that's been around for years, many people don't do it right. Develop a purchase card manual. Sell the concept. Target key groups. Organize the rollout. Overcome the two biggest fears. Chapter 7 goes into that. Chapter 8, Compensation and Process Improvement Articles and Insights. This shows you how to demystify Lean, Six Sigma, and other process improvement techniques. Talks about pay for skill success. Very successful. Walk the process to improve it. Get hands-on. How to pay procurement and supply chain professionals is another topic. Reducing workload kaizens and how to do them is critical. Assessing where you spend your money or spend analysis. What is the essential as is in your process step of spending? Find out where you spend your money and with whom. Make sure you put some sort of discipline index in buying together. Many companies' purchase orders are under $1,000 or 75% or more. They're small purchase orders. Chapter 9, Supplier Articles and Insights. Know what benchmarking techniques you can use. Have a sourcing methodology and stick to it. Make sure you understand alliances and how you select suppliers. Have a roadmap for supplier relationship success. Make sure you set supplier expectations. Use a roadmap and stick to it again. Understand reengineering, strategic sourcing. Make sure you cut suppliers, especially ones that you don't use very often. Pick the best of the best for alliances. Have metrics, show them and justify it. Consider e-procurement. Have very good catalogs. Stick to your marketing plan, publicize it, and make sure you transform your organization into supply chain management. Knowledge builds respect. Know your suppliers and their industry. Know everything about them, cost drivers, margins. It's easier said than done, but it is a powerful tool. Immense amount of homework required. They can no longer bamboozle you if you know more than they do. It is the most powerful negotiation tactic. Gains respect of your suppliers, and they're more open to relationships. Ask your suppliers for advice. What a novel concept. They have many years of experience, and they do know best practices. Don't let politics stifle them. Many know what has worked for other companies. Listen. Pick alliances wisely, but go at warp speed once you decide. Focus on only a few strategic alliances. Make sure they give you a competitive advantage. Never underestimate the time and effort required. Make sure they pay off and keep track of it. Absorb the culture the best you can of the supplier. Get a sourcing methodology again. There are many comprehensive models out there. Stick to it and don't skip steps, or you will not get the best supplier. Use for the critical and costly parts and materials. Keep the process disciplined. Use cross-functional teams. Don't let emotion or favoritism rules. You can save a lot of money in sourcing alone. Know the best practices. Keep up to date on them. Quote them constantly. Focus on your industry best practices also. Go with your gut when you don't have all the data. Cultural fit and chemistry are important in suppliers. With some strictly commercial relationships, you can go with your gut. They're not critical. Make sure the growth potential of your alliances are realized. Ruthlessly rationalize suppliers. You have to do this. You can't have relationships with 2,000 or 3,000 suppliers. Keep the standards high. Make sure that your suppliers can support e-procurement. Don't procrastinate and put this off. Slash suppliers as immediate as you can, and just don't back off. Establish pilots or beachheads. Try things. Okay? Don't let bureaucrats kill ideas easily by extending the pilot. Experiments must have controls and goals. Standardize equipment and processes. Remember, engineers have pets and biases. Make sure you understand them. Use engineers on cross-functional teams. Ask distributors for help. They know a lot of suppliers and have a lot of stories on them. This is nothing more than the Industrial Revolution axiom: standardize equipment. Push for compliance. Boilerplate everything you can possible, especially if it wastes time. Contracts, terms and conditions. Don't get all hung up on contracts. They really don't protect you much as folks think. Again, common sense purchasing. I wish it was more common. Here's some facts about me. I'll give you a little bit of time to take a look at it. I've done a lot of work in the supply chain, procurement. I've done a lot of consulting projects, and I've transformed many companies and departments. Here's my contact information. I've got just about everything there is on the internet. Again, Chapter 10, I talk about each one of my business books. If you're interested in other ones, take a look at it. Persevere. Don't waver. Don't lose your temper. Make sure you don't quit. You will eventually prevail. I call my 9 books a Hard Knocks MBA. Again, the lessons learned theme. Once again, please subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Here's how you can contact me. Here's my email addresses, and you can get a copy of this presentation. My website, drtombooks.com. More about my books. Give them a chance. I think you'll like a lot of them. Hope you enjoyed my advice. Thank you for your time. I know it's valuable to you. And again, I think you'll enjoy the new edition of Common Sense Purchasing on Amazon. Please give it a try.